안녕하세요 여러분. 영어 이메일을 쓸 때 매번 Dear so-and-so로만 시작하시나요? 틀린 거 아니지만 상황에 따라 또 새로 된 거 전문적인 인사법이 정말 많습니다. 오늘 이메일 첫 문장 고민을 끝내드릴게요. Hi everyone, today we're looking at email etiquette. How to write a good email is very important skill to learn in business. Now, of course, we have ChatGPT, we have AI can help with email these days. So that's a good thing, but you also need to know, otherwise, if you use ChatGPT, you don't know if it's right for that situation or not. So still, we also must learn email etiquette, okay? So your first sentence when you write an email sets the tone for the entire business relationship, okay? It's very important, the first sentence that you write in a business email, okay? Let's learn how to start like a pro today. I'm gonna teach you some good phrases, things to write when you start your email. Instead of just saying, Dear Mitch, that is very kind of old school. That's how people used to write letters in long time ago. But for email, we don't usually write Dear so-and-so, okay? That's not the best way. So let me teach you some other ways. So first of all, when you start, instead of saying Dear so-and-so, you can just say hello and then start, okay? Just like a conversation, okay? Just like a phone conversation. These days, in email, it's very common, even business emails, even quite formal emails, we start with hello, and then these are some phrases to continue on from there. You would say, I'm writing to follow up on, right? This is the most common and useful professional opening, right? When you have met this person before, or you've talked to them, or you've had some kind of interaction in business with them, you want to follow up on it. That means, we want to continue the conversation, we want to continue the transaction or whatever it was. It wasn't finished, so let's continue. So we say like that, oh, hello, I'm writing to follow up on the last time we met, we talked about blah, 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 that kind of thing, okay? So that sounds a lot better and it gets right to the point. These days people are busy. They don't have time, for a long, Dear Mitch teacher, I'm writing to tell you blah, blah, blah. They just get right to the point. I'm writing to follow up on what we talked about last time or the last conversation we had or something like that. Another one, let's say you had a meeting before. You had a meeting with this client or this customer or this person. Then you can just say, so as we discussed in the meeting, so when you had the meeting last time, you talked about something, right? And now you're following up on that. So you can just say that, as we discussed in the meeting, and then talk about it, So those openings are very good for getting right to the point, okay? And follow up in case you've already met this person before, you've talked to them before, okay? Now, another kind of opening you might need is the acknowledgement opening. In other words, you want to say thank you for something they've done or something they, helped you with. In that case, then, very important, you could start with this. Thank you for the quick turnaround. 빠른 조리에 감사드립니다. That means, thank you for getting back to me quickly. We didn't take a long time. You use this when someone responds faster than expected. Like, let's say you had a client and you asked them a question and they got back to you very quickly. Then you say, oh, thank you for the quick turnaround. I appreciate your fast reply. Those are good phrases to use. Appreciate just means thank you. It's a very formal way to say thank you. I appreciate. So if, let's say, you waited too long to respond, or you had something you were trying to confirm the details before you answered that person. So when you come back to email them, you could say, I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your patience. It just means thank you for your patience. 기다려 주셔서 감사합니다, right? Very simple, but sounds very nice and formal. I appreciate your patience. I've been consulting with my team and we needed to confirm a few details before we got back to you. something like that, right? So that is useful for any time that you've made them wait longer than you should have, which sometimes happens in business. Can't always reply quickly. So in that case, just say it like that. I appreciate your patience. Okay? So those are useful. Now, what about the check-in here? This means you're just trying to, connect again, and you want to know how are they doing. Instead of saying, hi, how are you? Or how are you doing? We say this, I hope this email finds you well. Very formal way to say it. I hope this email finds you well. 잘 지내고 계시길 바랍니다. So it's a classic, it's a safe, professional greeting. So very useful for you when you're checking in with someone to see how they're doing. I hope this email finds you well. Another one you can use is, I hope you're having a productive week. I hope you're having a productive week. 생산적인 한 주 보내고 계시길 바랍니다. That meaning, right? So I hope you're having a productive week. Okay, that's very good for business because it just means I hope you're getting a lot of good work done, So those kind of phrases will help in your email. It'll sound more natural. It'll sound more professional, but not too 딱딱해요, right? Not too unfriendly. You don't want to sound like you're too stiff, okay? 딱딱해, that's what that means, stiff, too stiff. You don't want to be too stiff. You want to be a little bit loose in business, especially these days. It's not as formal as it used to be. So we have to there's a balance, right? We have to walk the line between too formal and too informal. And that's what I'm trying to help you with in these videos, okay? Not always easy, right? For another example in email is, to whom it may concern. You've probably seen this phrase before, right? Very formal, very old school, 너무 딱딱하고 오래된 표현입니다. To whom it may concern. But we do use it. We do use it. Let's say you're writing a formal application to a university or to another company out of nowhere, and it's a application process that many people are going through, and you have to submit your application. Then in that case, we use to whom it may concern, because you don't know their name, you don't know who it is. Okay, but in business, everyday business, we don't usually use it that often. So if you're emailing a company that you work with, maybe you don't know the person, but you work with them often, this company, or they're a new client, then it would be a little bit too stiff to say to whom it may concern. So in that case, we just say, dear hiring manager, or their position title, dear head of HR, okay? Or you could say to the head of HR. That's okay too, okay? That way, it's kind of saying you don't know the person, but you probably know the department that you're trying to contact. Okay, so in that case, you can just list the title or the position. Okay, so let's do some shadowing practice, even though these are just for email, but still it's good to practice pronunciation. I'm writing to follow up on our last conversation. I'm writing to follow up on our last conversation. Or another one, thank you for the quick turnaround. Thank you for the quick turnaround. Okay, those are some good phrases for you. Try one of these phrases from today's video in your next email. Put a comment, let me know how it went. 이메일 영어 첫 문장만 잘 써도 자신감이 달라집니다. 궁금한 점은 댓글로 남겨주세요. 다음 시간 만나요.